They watched you cry through walls that should have kept you safe. Someone you loved turned the key. Your sanctuary was breached, not by fate, but by someone who once kissed your forehead. Heaven wept the day you danced alone, unaware the lens was open and the betrayal recorded. It wasn't just your body they violated. It was your silence, your prayers, your trust. The footage didn't go viral by accident. Someone pressed send, and they smiled. God saw them watching, and now He's watching them. Your worst fear is true. They saw everything, and still didn't come to protect you. You lit candles in a haunted room. The ghost was living. That wasn't just a camera. It was a confession hidden in pixels. Someone prayed with you, then posted your pain for strangers to devour. They filmed your vulnerability like a souvenir. But divine judgment has playback too. You sensed eyes on you. That wasn't paranoia, it was prophecy. They laughed when the views climbed. But heaven records echoes, not numbers. What they tried to expose will become their undoing. You forgave someone who was framing you in real time. You prayed in your kitchen. They clipped it, twisted it, mocked it. The one you trusted most knew about the device and said nothing. You weren't acting strange. You were being recorded. God covered what they tried to strip. The footage was edited, but not erased from divine memory. A mother's voice was heard in the background, and now she's trembling. You close the door. They open a lens. The person who smiled the widest knew the most. They weaponized your daily life, thinking heaven wouldn't notice. God is enraged, and His justice doesn't skip screens. You whispered to angels in a room where someone hid a wire. They saw you break and didn't stop recording. Your suffering became their content. But now their soul is trending in hell. They watched you unclothed, unaware they were undressing their own fate. What they thought was exposure will be their own execution. Your home was a church. They turned it into a circus. They shared your secrets before you even knew they were stolen. The footage isn't what will destroy them. The consequence will. Someone planted that camera, but it's growing wrath, not fame. The one who told you, "You're safe," was reading the comments. You made tea. They made it viral. They filmed the holy and called it entertainment. But the divine never forgets. You were targeted because your light terrifies them. God is about to turn their cameras on themselves. You're not crazy. You were hunted. Someone you defended in every room betrayed yours. That wasn't surveillance. That was a spiritual crime scene. They hoped you'd break down. Instead, you're rising, flame in hand. Your footage went viral. Their karma will too. Every view they gained added weight to their soul sentence. You trusted silence. They trusted lenses. Guess who God believes? You never looked more divine than when they tried to humiliate you. They saw your pain, but heaven saw their plan. The person comforting you knew exactly what was recording you. If this touched your soul, don't scroll, comment your favorite quote, and subscribe for more. You didn't imagine the shadow. The lens blinked. Every time you undressed, they stole a piece of your spirit. Their disguise was kindness, but their gift was surveillance. They didn't just watch, they waited. God's wrath arrives quietly, the way they did. That smile you trusted? It turned the camera on. They prayed with you, then clipped your soul into reels. The night you felt eyes on you, you were right. Someone placed a lens, then called it protection. The footage wasn't meant to go viral. It was meant to break you. Their fingerprints are on the wires. Heaven has proof. They watched your breakdown and passed it around like wine. Someone saw the tears you never spoke of. You wondered why your spirit felt watched. This wasn't exposure, it was execution in disguise. They studied you like prey before pressing record. You served love. They served it to an audience. It wasn't paranoia. It was prophecy whispering warnings. They recorded miracles and called them content. Even your silence was stolen. They captured your prayers, but can't delete the consequences. A stranger knows your secrets because someone close wanted them known. Their hands trembled when they saw divine justice trending. They posted your fall, but heaven bookmarked their collapse. You were wholly in the dark. That's what terrified them. The camera saw you. God saw everything else. You healed while being hunted. That's divine resilience. They disguised cruelty in concern. They watched you sleep, but now angels surround your bed. That footage sparked views. You're about to spark vengeance. The one who helped you hang curtains wired the wall. Your home wasn't haunted. It was hunted. You lit incense. They lit comments. They laughed. God didn't. You loved them. They filmed it. The betrayal didn't begin with the camera. That was just the reveal. You weren't violated. You were documented. There's a difference. Someone you fed is feeding your life to strangers. The footage didn't show your power, but their punishment will. What they streamed, God sealed. They turned your home into an altar of shame, but you're rising. You mourned alone. They monitored every sob. The one who gifted you that frame hid more than a picture. That camera caught your prayers, and God heard them too. You didn't know you were performance, but now you'll be prophecy. They shared your suffering. Now they'll share each other's silence. Someone praised your healing while uploading your hurt. You were sacred. They turned you into a broadcast. They betrayed heaven when they betrayed your privacy. Your house was never cursed. Someone inside it was. You weren't paranoid. You were spiritually alert. They said, "Trust me," as they set up the lens. The footage will burn, but your soul will bloom. You were never entertainment. You were always holy. They edited what they feared, your strength. The footage captured your breakdown, but heaven captured your rebirth. The video ends, but their karma just started. A prophet warned you in dreams. You ignored the chills. What they saw, they'll now suffer. You moved through grief with grace, and they filmed every tear. Someone begged for your location. Now they're begging for mercy. They profited from your privacy. But pain has its price. They watched God love you. That's what destroyed them. Your name trended. Their soul trembled. You weren't background. You were the storm. They recorded you to destroy you. But heaven had other plans. That camera wasn't hidden from God. The one who fixed your light fixture darkened your trust. Your worst memories are now their judgment. They wore your smile, but carried your exposure. They saw your body, but now they'll witness your spirit unleashed. What they tried to ruin, heaven will rebuild. They posted sin. You're about to post glory. The camera recorded your vulnerability. Your voice will record the vengeance. You broke down. They pressed pause. God pressed play. Your scream was muted, but not in heaven. They sold your silence. You're about to scream truth. The footage won't save them from what's coming. Someone knew and said nothing. That silence is recorded too. Their face will be exposed just like yours was. You found the camera. Now God's handing you the sword. Your home became evidence. Your story became weapon. That wasn't security, it was spiritual sabotage. They hunted light, but now they're blinded by yours. They thought they won. They didn't see the angel standing behind you. They posted a piece of your life. God is writing the ending. Their mask will fall, just like your tears did. You forgave them. Heaven didn't. They used your pain. You'll use your voice. What they built in shadows will burn in daylight. They think no one knows. The universe does. They hid cameras. God revealed character. You're not just a victim. You're vengeance in motion. The tape rolls back. So will their past. That wasn't content. That was a covenant broken. You were divine in the dark. That's why they feared you. They took your privacy. God's taking their peace. The one who watched you undress is being undressed by fate. That footage meant to shame you will exalt you. They filmed your prayer. Now God will film theirs. Someone leaked your tears. God will leak their shame. The camera captured your weakness. Heaven will capture their downfall. They watched you heal in broken silence. That lens stole your innocence and made them inherit its consequences. You cried in darkness while they streamed it in daylight. Your broken song became their viral centerpiece. They recorded your shadows, but forgot the angel glowing behind you. The camera loved your wounds, but God loves your healing. They waited for your collapse. Heaven waits for their repentance. Your whispered promises became their public spectacle. They recorded your silence, not realizing your spirit speaks anyway. Footage doesn't reveal the heavens writing your redemption. They watched you bleed, heavens ready to bleed them of pride. Your sanctuary became their studio. God will reclaim the set. Every frame they stole, God reclaims with fire. They sold your sorrow. God will sell them truth. The camera caught you praying. God heard you kneel. They expected scandal. God expects resurrection. They shared your sorrow. God's sharing their consequences. They recorded sin. Heaven records redemption. Your tears filled screens. Now His will fill their hearts. They couldn't hide their lens. Heaven won't hide His wrath. They leaked your private grief. God will leak their hidden guilt. They criminalized your tears. God sanctifies your sorrow. That footage burned trust, but heaven burns falsehood. They dissected your pain. Heaven binds broken bones. You healed. They filmed. Heaven is healing them. They made your home a stage. God is about to rewrite the script. They spotlighted your darkest hour. Heaven spotlighted their sin. The world saw your wound. Heaven sees your glory. They exposed your grief. God will expose their deceit. They framed you. God is framing them for justice. Footage sparked judgment. Heaven sparks mercy. They showed your worst moment. Heaven shows your comeback. The camera watched, but missed the angels in the room. They celebrated your breakdown. Heaven celebrates your rise. They streamed your private moment. God streams eternity. They thought they owned your fear. God owns your peace. What was recorded will be redeemed. They quarantined your pain. Heaven spreads healing instead. They trapped you in pixels. God will free you in light. Every upload wounds them further. They pried into your spirit. Heaven pries open theirs. They saw your chaos. Heaven sees your calm after the storm. They claim victory, but God claims the ending. The camera captured your recoil. Heaven captures their undoing. They made spectacle of your scars. God makes them spectacle of His power. They recorded your grief. Heaven is already rewriting the hymns. Your tears flooded screens. Heaven floods them with grace. They watched your low. God prepares your heights. They're owning your broadcast. God owns the broadcast of truth. What they clipped, God will replay with glory. They made voyeurism viral. Heaven makes justice viral. The footage cast you as victim. God casts them as villain. They took your privacy. God is taking their pride. They violated holy ground. God will reclaim the altar. They wanted traction from your tragedy. God gives traction to your triumph. They made your pain their show. God is making your peace a showcase. They filmed despair. God films deliverance. They sold your silence. God fills it with His voice. They spread rumor. Heaven spreads restoration. They aimed lenses. God aims mercy. Their content may trend. God's justice never trends, it remains. They scrolled past your pain. Heaven never scrolls past. They found profit in your tears. God finds purpose in your pain. The camera stole your moment. God restores every moment. They treasuries your trauma. God treasures your testimony. They sold your sorrow cheap. God sells your victory eternal. They tried to shame your body. God will praise it whole. They caught your pain. God catches your heart. They exploited your night. God brings your dawn. They used your trust. God trusts you back. They panned focus to your sorrow. God focuses on your surfeit. They clipped your heartbreak. God glues your healing. They glimpsed your defeat. Heaven glimpsed your triumph. They spliced your sobs. God binds your spirit. They captured your lowest point. God is preparing your highest throne. They taped your tearful whisper. God hears your soul roar. They tried to drown you in view count. Heaven raises you by life count. They highlight your pain. God highlights your purpose. They recorded your fearful prayer. God records your faith walk. They archived your agony. God archives your beauty. They live off your widow's tears. God fills your cup with oil. They seized your sorrow. God seizes their fear. What they streamed will scorch them. They weaponized optics. God weaponizes truth. They trapped you in pixels. God rescues in presence. They recorded dishonesty. God preserves integrity. They screenshot your sadness. God screenlocked your future. They laughed at your tears. God is preparing their lament. They film what breaks you. God films what rebuilds you. They broadcast private grief. God broadcasts divine transformation. They taped your confession. God confesses their soon turnaround. They filmed despair. God filmed deliverance. They sold fear. God delivers peace. They recorded you broken. God is making you holy. They saw your hollow. God filled it with purpose. They captured your collapse. God readies your crown. They viewed your funeral. God prepared your resurrection. They streamed your sacrifice. God streams your salvation. They focused on your ruin. God focuses on your rebuild. They caught your collapse. God cooks your comeback. They taped your tremble. God stoops to steady you. They recorded your retreat. God prepares your return. They captured your night. God commands your morning. They owned your pain. God owns your plan. They filmed your fault. God mends your faith. They spotlighted your sin. God spotlights your salvation. They made content from curse. God makes covenant from curse. They snapped your sorrow. God crafts your story. They filmed your fear. God shapes courage in your marrow. They recorded your tears. God records your triumph. They profited from your pain. God imprisons their greed. They watched your vulnerability. God watches your victory. They aired your agony. God airs their accountability. They posted your grief. God posts grace. They taped your breakdown. God crafts your breakthrough. If this touched your soul, don't scroll. Like, comment your favorite quote, and subscribe for more.